It was early November, the kind of gray, biting afternoon where the sun gives up by 4 p.m. I was 10, hanging out with my older cousin Leo, my best friend Marcus, and his 6-year-old brother Toby. We had wandered much further than usual, following a dried-up creek bed that led us to the edge of town, near the old textile district. We popped out onto a gravel road we didn't recognize. It was a dead end. At the very end of the lane stood a pale yellow brick bungalow. The windows were covered in heavy drapes, and the front yard was a disaster of mud and twisted metal scraps. 2 goats were tethered to a leaning fence post near the porch, chewing on the wooden siding of the house. An old man came out onto the porch. He was bald, wearing suspenders and heavy work boots. He spotted us immediately and waved a gloved hand, smiling a bit too broadly. He called out, asking if we wanted to see the goats. Leo and Marcus looked at each other, shrugged, and started walking toward him. Toby followed, fascinated by the animals. I hesitated. My mom always drilled stranger danger into me, but I didn't want to be left alone on the road. The man walked down the steps and unlatched the small gate to the pen. "Come on in, they're friendly," he urged. "Come see." He grabbed the larger goat by its collar and pulled it toward us. "This here's Buster, and the little lady is Betsy. Go on, feel the coat, tough as wire." We gathered around. The man seemed overly eager, his eyes wide and unblinking. He forced the goat's mouth open with his gloved hands. "Look at those teeth," he said. "Flat grinders. They can chew through a tin can, or a finger if you aren't quick." He laughed, a dry, rattling sound. Toby reached out to pet the smaller goat. The animal leaned into his hand. I looked down. The mud in the pen was mixed with something bright, but I couldn't quite catch what it was. "They eat just about anything," the man said, stroking the goat that couldn't stop chewing on the wooden siding. "Don't you, Buster? Best disposal system in the county." Suddenly, a teenager on a dirt bike came tearing down the gravel lane. He skid to a halt right in front of the house, kicking up a spray of mud. He looked at us and shouted, "Get away from there! Don't listen to a word he says!" Toby jumped behind Marcus. The man on the porch scowled. "Get lost, you little delinquent!" he yelled. The teenager shouted, "He's a liar!" before peeling out and speeding back the way he came. The old man sighed, looking shaken. "Ignore him," he said. "Local troublemaker. He broke into my shed last week. Come on inside, boys. It's freezing out here, and my wife just made hot apple cider." We were cold, and the story about the burglar seemed plausible. We followed him up the steps. Toby went first, shivering. Inside, the house was suffocatingly hot. A wood stove was blasting in the corner. Sitting in an armchair facing away from us was a woman. She didn't turn around when we entered. "Martha, we have guests," the man announced. The woman turned her head slowly. Her expression was blank, almost like she was sleepwalking. But when she saw us, her face contorted into a look of absolute shock, followed by a sharp, rhythmic nodding. She didn't say a word. She just pointed toward the kitchen. A knot formed in my stomach. Something was wrong. I looked at the coffee table and saw a pile of dirty rags and what looked like surgical shears. I nudged Leo. "We need to go," I whispered. "But the cider," Leo started, but then he looked at the woman, who was now grinning silently, her eyes unblinking. "My mom is expecting us," I lied, my voice cracking. "We're late." Toby started to whine, but Marcus grabbed his arm. "Yeah, we gotta run." We backed out the door. The moment we hit the porch, the old man's demeanor shifted. He didn't chase us, but he walked briskly to the edge of the steps. He stopped right at the bottom step, "Wait!" he shouted. "You didn't get your treat!" One of the goats let out a sound that sounded terrifyingly like a human scream. Panic took over. Marcus scooped up Toby and we bolted, cutting through the muddy yard and sprinting back toward the creek bed. I didn't look back until we were halfway down the gravel road. We ran all the way to Marcus's house. I told my older sister what happened, breathless and terrified. She thought we were making it up, but told her boyfriend, who told his dad, a deputy. 2 days later, Leo told me the police went out there. Apparently, they found a few kids' bicycles and a lot of unexplainable things in that house's basement, though he never told us exactly what. But I had my suspicions. Remember the mud in the pen was mixed with something bright? I guess it looked like shredded clothing.
If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also send your stories to the email in the description.